All right, you may not have asked for this, but you're going to get it. Well, not really. I mean, you could shut the video off and move on to something else. So over the weekend, I've watched Halloween Kills. Now, I am a fan of Michael Myers. Actually, happy birthday, Michael. He does share the same birthday as me, although he was born in 57. I was 76, so a little bit of an age gap there. So I felt compelled because it's Halloween. I love Halloween, not just the movie, but the holiday as well, or the month of October is just really the best month in the world. And last year I did a whole month of really Halloween things, and I haven't done much of it. I did do a slight half-ass review of the Mothman prophecies, like 2 or 3 videos ago. I actually been wanting to do some movie reviews and TV reviews for a while now on the channel. So I'm going to try to make this short, 10 minutes tops, I hope. I don't want to bore you too much. Now, some of you may not know how I do things when it comes to covering movies and TV shows. I let spoilers fly. I don't really care. I hate the whole spoiler warning thing. It's just a thing of mine. I don't really care. If you don't want to know about things, don't click on the video that mentions it and come back to it later on. That's how I've always gone about with it. But just from doing the Cantina Cast, I was restricted in saying spoilers or even the inside information I had on the movies, because I got to see some stuff that before anybody else did. I was privileged enough to see some stuff and know what was coming and stuff, and that was pretty cool. But I always danced around it on the show. My co-host at the time said we can't do that, so we would tend to discuss things in a way that we'd mention and say things that, like, when you were watching the movie or the show, it would click in your head and you'd be like, that's what they meant, sort of thing. So that's kind of how it'll be. Mild spoilers. Some may slip out. I don't know, but I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. Now, go back to 2018. They did Halloween 2018, which was a sequel from the original 1978 one, which is a good one. A bit cheesy by today's standards, but it holds up. It's pretty good. I liked it. A lot better than the 400 other sequels that came after it, and Season of the Witch, which isn't a bad horror movie, but it just doesn't belong with Halloween. But anyway, so in any case, last 2018 picks up 40 years, I think it was, after 1978. So you meet Michael Myers, he breaks out and all that stuff. And it was pretty good, although it jumped the shark with the doctor putting the mask on and then killing or stabbing the officer or whatever. It just didn't, it kind of jumped the shark for me. It took the goodness out of the movie and kind of just throws a wrench in it, but it corrects itself in a decent way. So anyway, Halloween Kills, which, by the way, is an awful title. I just want you to know that off the bat. If any of them from Blumhouse is watching or whatever, it's an awful name. I don't know why you went with that, but I guess you got a reason for it. So, and I guess the next one is called Halloween Ends because there's a cliffhanger at the end. But I will say the positive thing that I really enjoyed about it was how they paid tribute with Dr. Loomis and the events of 1978, because this movie takes place just after, and this was rather clever, it takes place right after the final Halloween 2018, similar to Halloween 2 from 1978. It kind of takes place that night. It's a continuation of things, and it does it well, and the flashbacks are done well. Dr. Loomis looks pretty good, although his voice is a little off for the moments that you see him. I thought that was really good. I think they paid tribute quite a bit to that night, like Halloween 78. I think they did very well with that, and I liked it. The problem is halfway through, well, not even halfway through, and then there's a controversy because Michael Myers takes out all the firefighters. I guess you can't do that. He can contemplate almost stabbing a baby in the first one, killing police officers, doctors, women, and kids, and everything else under the sun, but firefighters is a no-go, I guess. I don't know what part of, it's a horror movie, didn't you understand, you sensitive people? I'm not sure what, it's Michael Myers. It's not the Easter Bunny here. So in any case, there was that. Didn't really bother me because it's a movie. It's horror. That's just the way it is. Was it far-fetched that he took out a brigade of firefighters? Yeah, it was. But it's, it goes in this, part of it that I didn't like is the fact that it goes over the top with its kills. And Michael Myers is extravagant again, as he is with his kills, he's not Jason Voorhees, where the kills are fantastical, if you will, or even Freddy, for that matter, right? He's got to play close to the edge of that. He's, butcher knife's kind of his thing. He's not Captain Creative on his kills all that much. He's just a mindless killing machine with a butcher knife. Usually is his preferred method, but he does other things here and there. But, pitchforks being one of them. But I thought it was a little over top for Michael to be doing what he did, but it was okay because it was kind of paying tribute to that 80s, mid-80s, over-the-top horror kills that we got used to in the 80s, the mid-80s, so it wasn't bad. It was okay. What really detracted was the mob mentality in the movie. There's a point where this mob rule thing comes about, and who played it? What the heck is his name? His name escapes me. Is it Michael C. Hall? The guy who was played in The Breakfast Club there, the nerdy, geeky one. Anyway, so he plays, what's his face? Not Lonnie. Oh, I can't forget his name off the top of my head. I'm a fan and I forget the name. But anyway, his acting was horrible. I mean, it detracted from the part. It wasn't good, I don't think. It's not a role that he should have played. It just didn't click. Most part, everyone's acting was decent. Jamie Lee Curtis was pretty good, a bit over the top. I don't like the whole survivalist prepper route they went with her, but, it is what it is. You don't see that much in this episode, this movie. She's more of takes a step back, to be honest. So back to Michael and his kills. It's over top, and then we got this whole mob thing where someone escapes. When Michael escaped, Jamie Lee Curtis hits his bus. In the first one, the 2018 version, a bunch of mental people break out, right? And one of those patients has escaped. They meet at the hospital, and they think it's him. They get this whole mob mentality. Michael needs to die tonight. It ends with us, blah, 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 blah. It pays tribute to, I guess, the whole, villagers rising up to kill the monster type Frankenstein trope, which I think is dated and kind of foolish in this day and age. I prefer the final girl taking out the bad guy, so to speak, or the group, if you will. But that didn't come off well. This whole mob mentality thing, and I know they were playing off of the riots and all that stuff from 2020, and I'm not sure, COVID might have hurt a lot of the production on this, and I know the film was sitting around for a little bit, and there were various things going on, and I think that detracted from it a bit, and I didn't like that element. There was like a good 25 minutes of this mob thing. It took away from it. And it just wasn't cool. And then, of course, we get to a point where they encounter Michael, the mob. And this part I didn't like the way they did it. It seemed very cheesy. But I liked that they paid tribute and they went with the whole Michael's evil personified and you can't kill him, so to speak. He's just pure evil and he's, no matter you shoot him, kill him, whatever. I didn't mind that because it's a horror movie at the end of the day. But for me, when I'm thinking about it, it takes back from what they were doing in 2018 and in 1978. It was kind of like you were connecting this whole serial killer thing mentality with Michael, and then you get into this, you just switch to supernatural type stuff. And they kind of did it with the doctor in 2018, putting the mask on and wanting to feel what it was like to be Michael Myers, right? Kind of jumped the shark there. This kind of doesn't play well. It's a bit of a mess, if you will. So anyway, Michael gets his ass handed to him, and of course they think he's dead. And come on, I don't know what it is with people. He's not dead. He obviously comes back, takes out the villagers, if you will, takes them all out, and he kills Lonnie from the first one. He takes away the nurse. She makes an appearance that was with Dr. Loomis, kills her, and I kind of don't like that. The survivors from the original dying in this one. That bothered me in a way. I felt it wasn't necessary for some stupid reason. I just don't think, I can see one of them, but not all of them. It just didn't play right for me. And then we get to the end where, okay, he kills the villagers, so to speak, that were going to kill him, and then he's somewhere. We don't know where he is. But then at the end, you see Laurie's daughter, and you know he's still around because she's in the house or whatever, and you just know it's around. And of course, it ends with things happening, and you're like, well, obviously they're going to do another one. And I didn't know that, but now there is confirmed, I think, that Halloween Ends is coming next, which I think it needs to end now. I'm kind of disappointed. I mean, is it worth watching? Yes, I wouldn't go to the movie theater to watch this, even though it did pretty well in the theater. I wouldn't go to the movie theater. I'm glad I bought a subscription for the Peacock for $4.90 something and streamed it that way because then I was able to watch other movies, which were great. I got to watch The Creature from the Black Lagoon, which I'm going to watch with my daughter, and I'm going to do a review on that and kind of talk about it. I watched it again, and man, what a trip. I'll just say that for now. But Halloween Kills, it's an okay movie, but it falls in so many ways, and it kind of screws up what I feel like they were trying to do with like continuing from 1978 to 2008. I felt like that thread kind of went a little wonky, so to speak. But and by the way, if you're wondering, I'm smoking in my Herb Booth jack-o'-lantern pipe because, well, you know, Michael Myers, you know, jack-o'-lanterns. I don't know. It just, you know, my buddy Brian and I went back and forth on Facebook because he saw a post that I was talking about watching it. He hadn't seen it. And we both agree horror kind of has been taking a nosedive for such a long time. And to me, since I think Scream was the last great kind of scare thing. There have been others. Like for me, Scream was like the end of that 80s and 90s kind of horror slasher that was fun, entertaining, and even when it was over the top, it was pretty good. It just could kind of, I don't know, since 2000, not so good. I know there's a few gems out there. I've just been so turned off from that, and I don't even have high hopes for Scream 5 coming out. I don't know how they're going to do it, although I saw the trailer. Some of it looks good. It's paying homage to the original, which is the best, and my daughter's actually interested in Ghostface, which is interesting. She's finally getting into that point where she's intrigued by scary things, and I think that's because of me. I like those horror things, and she's very much into a lot of things that I am, and she's a little bit curious. She's a big scaredy cat, so it's funny. So she's trying to wrestle with the scaredy cat and curiosity cat type thing. So that'll be interesting. But she wants to watch The Creature from the Black Lagoon with me because she knows I'm such a fan of it, and she likes the creature design as well. So she wants. I was watching Scream over the weekend, and she happened to catch some of it, and she liked Ghostface, and she liked, oh, wow, this is kind of interesting. Might be a little too mature for her, but, you know, anyway, I don't know. I was watching crazy things at 8 years old. At 6 years old, I was watching Porky's, for God's sakes, I think. So, in any case, times have changed. So, again, Halloween Kills just kind of, you know, I got to be honest, I didn't have high hopes for it because, you know, the title itself, when they announced it, Halloween Kills, I was like, oh, well, we're going over the top Freddy, Jason type stuff, which I like for them. I don't like for Michael. Michael's that mindless, slow, methodical killer that just does it with a simple tool type of stuff, or with his physicality. He doesn't necessarily do these crafty Tom and Jerry, what do you call it, Wile E. Coyote traps to take you out, right? So it was all right. Do yourself a favor, get a Peacock subscription and watch it that way. Don't go to the theater. I wouldn't waste it $8 to $10, $12 plus popcorn and all that. Unless you want to go out to the movie theater to support the theaters, go for it. You know, go for it. Ugh. But we shall see. See where they go with Halloween Ends, I believe it's called. I don't know when that'll come out. I hope they wait a little bit, let this COVID stuff get out, and they can kind of produce things. I think a lot of movies and TV shows have kind of suffered with the production on COVID, obviously. A lot of things have, right? So I think it hurts the storytelling a bit. But in any case, there are elements that are good, and the nostalgia part is good, and they do it well. They don't do it haphazardly like some things. Like Star Wars kind of leans on the nostalgia buzz a little too much. They do a pretty good job. The Mandalorian does a pretty good job with that, but sometimes they go too far with it. They use it as a crutch almost, but they play it well in here, and I feel like that's where they were going. They were doing well with it. Then COVID happened, and then it went off the rails. I feel that's kind of how it went, but I could be wrong on that. I don't know all the details. So anyway, but that's kind of my review. I went a little longer than I wanted to. I'm curious if you guys have seen it, if you're going to see it, and your thoughts on it. So leave comments below. Even if you are, I don't know, what are your favorite horror movies? What is your favorite killer? Jason, Michael? See, mine was always Jason growing up because of hockey, the hockey mask. I didn't like Michael till the 2000s, especially when I saw, was it H2O? I think it's H2O, where they mention his date of birth is October 19th, 1957, I think it is, or 50, I think it's 57. And then I was like, oh, we're one and the same, so to speak. So, well, not quite. He's methodically evil, and I'm not. I kind of wrestle with my good and evil side. But anyway, that's going to do it for this one. So let me know what you guys think of what's your favorite horror movie. Have you watched any horror movies lately? Have you watched any crazy, scary movies, or like the Mothman prophecies or anything like that? Let me know. Listen down below. I'll be curious to see what you guys think, and especially if you've seen this movie, what your thoughts are, if you're going to see it, if you're even a fan of Michael Myers. But anyway, I'm out of here. I've taken up enough of your time. I'll catch you guys later.